I just want to take a big step back and remind people about the public hearing and what it's for. It's not just a checkbox that you tick off on the way to passing a bill and it becoming a law. It's actually supposed to inform legislators like us about how a proposed piece of legislation will impact the public, what it means for the future of this state, and ideally we're supposed to take that information, consider it, and possibly even amend the bill or pass it or not pass it based on what we get from that public input. What we heard on Tuesday was actually really disturbing. I had people from my area come up who were here most of the day who didn't get to testify. We had one person actually lost a day's wages so that he could be here and wanted to offer testimony and wasn't allowed to do that. It's really important, for as much as the other side talks about this proposed legislation supposedly being about freedom, if we're serious about that, we have to give the public their opportunity to exercise their freedom to give their input on this bill and how it will impact them. So our expectation in the Assembly, from the Assembly Democrats' point of view, is that getting public testimony isn't just something you check off on a checklist before you pass a bill. It's actually supposed to inform the debate in a deliberative body. And if we just cram it in and say that we're only going to hear from certain parts of the public, or if the clock runs out, too bad, those remaining won't have their voices heard, it really diminishes the process that we're supposed to respect here. So our expectation and our hope is that we're going to see a different process here in the Assembly and that every voice will be heard.
I don't think there's any sort of a hard and fast time. I don't know how many people will be there or what we're looking at. I think my biggest concern is that this be a hearing, not a filibuster. So to the extent that people are listening and engaged, certainly I want to leave time for questions we have a number of real people that will be coming to attend the hearing on both sides, and we've had some very good civil discussions this week and hope that'll continue, and we'll see where things are at on Monday.
Are Republicans willing to compromise at all on this bill?
On this bill, I think certainly our caucus has always said that if they actually get us the amendments at a reasonable time before we're actually on the floor, we've always taken a look at those. We've certainly taken Democratic amendments before. I think the concern that we've had, and this was probably the case in the Senate yesterday, if you have amendments that are basically introduced and spoken to on the floor, as they're introduced, there's not really much reaction time for us as legislators to consider the merits and what the actual impact would be, or the full consequences of that.